I've got to ask you about the real deranged response to the strikes by the left. Now, I saw that you went out to what looked like an anti-Israel, anti-Iran, anti-Iran strike, an anti-West gathering. And you look like you were being pushed around here. Tell us what was happening.
Well, first of all, this is a great example of the Israeli society. I'm an Arab, and there were actually Jews there protesting against the strike on the Iranian regime. Now, I should say it's a tiny, tiny minority. Yeah, but why I brought the information that I am an Arab? Because I hear so many people talking about Israel as being an apartheid state. Listen to me very carefully. If I lived under apartheid state and I did what I did yesterday in that protest, I would be already locked in prison for so many years that I couldn't remember how the light would be. But there I was, an Arab, protesting against Jews who are against the war. Despite the fact that being minority, it was very important for me to come and tell the Iranian people, listen, don't see on the social media those tiny minority in Israel and think that the Israelis are against the war or against destroying the Iranian regime. It was very important for me to send them a clear message. We are with you guys. We want to see your freedom, and your win is our win, and your fight is our fight. And those tiny minorities, nothing, barely 20, 30, 40 people, no more than that, they do not represent the Israeli society. And so for me, it was a great message to the Iranian people to tell them we are with you guys and we will fight together. And as well, an information video to any useful idiot who calls Israel an apartheid state.
Look, good on you. And I had a little laugh to myself because you really challenged these idiots. You put a lot of great questions to them and none of them could answer. Have a listen to this.
Why you oppose a war against a regime that killed, massacred 40,000 of its people? 40,000 of its people. What do you have to say to the Iranian people? What do you have to say to the Iranian people? 40,000 of their people died, killed, massacred. Do you have any message to the Iranian people? Huh? Do you?
And Yosef, they've got nothing to say. They've got nothing. You've got Iranians on the other side of the world celebrating. They're happy. They love Trump. They wanted this. And then as you call them so well, useful idiots, you're asking them questions. Why don't they want to answer?
So let me tell you something. Literally about 5 minutes ago, I was on a live TV in Israel on a debate against one of the leaders of the people, the minority people, the tiny people, those who actually protested. And she was from the LGBT community. And I just wanted to do one thing. So I called my Persian friend who ran away from the Iranian regime and now is based in London. And I called him live on TV in Israel, and I put him on a speaker, and I said, I have a question. What will happen to a transgender if he lived today in Tehran under the Iranian regime? One word shook the whole TV, yeah? And he said, execution. And I looked at that activist, and I said, don't you see that you guys are like chickens for KFC? Because the same people that you are protesting for are the same people that will demolish you, that resent you, that hate everything that you represent, from human rights to the rights of the LGBT community, to the basic rights of freedom of speech. You don't have it. And you are fighting for those who massacred 40,000 plus people. They don't have any answer. They are driven by a political agenda here in Israel and no more than that. The problem is that when they spread this message on social media, because, the social media can just take something tiny and make it big, then we have a problem of a fake news that they will come and say that the Israeli society is against its own army and against its own state when they are fighting a just war against a terrorist regime. We will not allow them. We will continue to shout harder than them.
Absolutely. And this is the same, so-called tolerant left who've suddenly now, funnily enough, forgotten about all the atrocities of the Iranian regime. It's really interesting how they've got a selective memory on these things, but only when it comes to Donald Trump. That is so dangerous.